function in real world. Functions, events. Okay. So on special occasion, we are going to do any function. Okay. So in that functions, we are going to do only specific things. Okay. If it is marriage, we are going to do only marriage. We are not going to do any other things. And then, so similarly here JavaScript functions. So function contains set of statements which is going to do specific task. Okay, so we're going to create function to perform specific task. So that particular task will execute whenever you need. Okay, so మనకి ఎప్పుడైతే కావాలో అప్పుడు మనం యూస్ చేస్తాం ఫంక్షన్ ని. So then only it is going to execute. Only that specific task it is going to execute. Then it is going to return result. Okay, so again here functions are reusable. Okay, n number of times we can just call these functions. Okay, wherever we need, we are going to call that particular functions. Then it is going to execute that function. Clear? Functions. Function is a subroutine. So contains set of statements or block of code to perform specific task. Specific task. Okay. So again, functions are reusable. Okay, so we can just reuse that existing function n number of times. Clear? So again, in JavaScript, functions are lazy. Functions are lazy. Why I'm calling here lazy? So you have created a function, it will never ever execute until unless you are going to call it. Okay. So if you just reached, or else if you just went for any restaurant, if you ask for any rice item, okay, rice, bath or water it will be. So immediately they are going to serve. Okay, but you are going to ask any dosa or any other items. Okay, so they are going to cook that particular recipe on the request. Okay, so they will never ever create or else cook it already. Okay, so on request they are going to takes cooking. Okay, so they are going to cook on request. Similarly here, JavaScript functions are going to execute on request of the developer. So whenever you are going to call this function, then only it is going to execute. అంతేనా? సో ఇప్పుడు మనం టిఫిన్ షాప్కి వెళ్తాము, బోండా కానీ ఇడ్లీ కానీ అడిగితే ఇమీడియట్గా ఇచ్చేస్తారా? దోశ అడిగితే అప్పటికప్పుడు వేసిస్తారు కదా. సో లేదు, ఇడ్లీ అడిగినప్పుడు అప్పుడు పోయి కుక్ చేస్తారా ఇడ్లీ? లేదు, అదొక 20 నిమిషాలు పడుతుంది, ఈ లోపల మనం వేరే షాప్కి వెళ్ళిపోతాం. సో అలానే JavaScript functions, even though you have created it, it will never ever execute. Okay, so until unless you are going to call it. So that is the reason JavaScript functions are lazy. So they are not ready to execute. But loops, iteration loops, for loops, they are eager. Once if your application has been rendered, loaded, okay, so immediately it is going to execute that for loop or while loop, iterations, conditions. They are going to execute immediately. They will never ever wait for the request. Clear? So again, rules for function names. Okay, so for function, okay, so I'm going to create syntax first. So syntax function keyword. So for regular function it is. So first one, regular function or function declaration. Okay, so for this syntax is function keyword it is. Okay, so you are saying, so the upcoming content is a function. Okay, so function keyword. So here function name, function name. So for humans, we are going to keep some specific names to call by other persons. Similarly, to call this function, if there is no name, we are unable to call it. So that is the reason we are going to create function along with its name. Okay. So this function name along with parenthesis. Okay, open and closed parenthesis. So this parenthesis accepts parameters. Okay, so we will discuss. So here curly braces. Inside this curly braces only we are going to insert or else we are going to mention code, JavaScript code, what you need to execute once this function has been invoked. Okay. So this is syntax. So then again function name, sorry, rules for function name. So same, however, we have seen rules on variable declaration. Okay, so that names should not start with numbers. So then again, it should not contain any special characters rather than underscore and dollar. But here we are not going to use dollar. Underscore is preferred. So then again, that variable name should not be any reserved keyword. Okay, so like if, let, where, okay, for this is also. So should not contain numbers or okay, special characters other than underscore. Clear? So next should not starts with number. Okay. So next should not be any reserved keyword. So what are the reserved keywords? Let, where, const, if, for, while, this, and so on. Okay. So this is also one reserved keyword here. So this will plays crucial role in JavaScript. Okay. So we'll discuss, which is very, very important. So clear. So these are the things which will says about functions. Okay. So now we are going to start working with functions. So first function declaration, normal function. Okay. So function keyword, greet is my function name. Inside this, I'm going to mention console.log. So hi, this is yeah, yeah, yeah. So where it is going to display in console. So why it is not displaying? So we have called this function now. So now only it is going to display the output. Okay. So JavaScript will never ever execute this function until unless calling of that particular function. So it is creating a function or else declaring a function. It is the calling of function. Okay, this is how we are going to call the function. Function name parenthesis, empty parenthesis. If it is contains any parameters, you need to pass arguments. Clear? So done. So any doubts still this point online? So let A is equal to 8. So let B is equal to 5. Console.log. So I'm going to mention here. So without parameters. Okay. So here I have created a function with the name add contains two variables a equal to 8, b equal to 5. So console.log a plus b. I am going to call this function. So what will be the output? 13. It has been displayed. So now every time whenever I am going to call this particular add function, it is going to add only this two variables, which is 8 and 5. I need to change the values here. Okay. So I need to perform addition operation on any other numbers like 10, 20 or else 5, 6. I am not going to assume which number I am going to take. Okay. So on that time, what we need to do? So we are going to pass here with parameters. We are going to pass here parameters for this function, params a comma b. So I'm going to remove this variables now. Okay. So this function needs two arguments whenever you're calling. Okay. So here it is parameters. So whenever you're passing these values, so these are the arguments. Okay. So parameter one, parameter two, and so on. Okay. You can just take an a limit. There is no limit here. Okay. So you need to pass here arguments. If you're taking here two parameters, you need to pass here two arguments. So this parameters acts like a variable to store that particular value. Clear? So now we can just take any value. It is going to do operation add additional operation on this particular values. Clear? Done. So any doubts till this point? మీరు లాస్ట్. So now I have fruits. Okay. So I need to make it each fruit into four parts. Okay. So if it is apple, four parts I need to divide. So then again, orange. Okay, four parts. So if I'm passing only one orange, one apple, total how many pieces? 8 pieces. So like this, I need to calculate. So how many apples I have used, then total how many pieces I have divided. Okay, so apples count I'm going to pass. Total how many pieces I have used to create juice. Okay, so for that, what is the function? Function or okay, so fruit juicer. Okay, so this is my function. So it will accept two arguments. Okay, so it will accept two arguments. Juicer. So 3 comma 5. So 3 is for apples. 3 apples I'm going to add. 5 oranges. Okay. So I have the count of that particular fruits. So I need to calculate how many pieces total I need to cut. So these particular fruits, so into how many pieces I need to cut? Okay. So I'm going to pass here apples, comma. Okay. Oranges. Then spelling rule. Okay. So no issue. Let apple pieces is equal to. So how I need to like if it is one apple, I need to cut into 4 parts. So what I need to do here? Hmm? Apples plus 4 hmm? చెప్పండి into 4 అంతేనా okay so let same spelling అని మర్చిపోయా pieces is equal to into 4 అంతేనా so now the count whatever you are passing here into 4 okay so then again it is going to store in this variable okay 3 into 4 12 okay so I'm going to create a console here console.log so I need to pass dynamic data I'm going to use backticks which is easy so juice has been prepared with apple pieces so okay pieces and sorry so orange pieces okay okay done so it is fine so now I'm going to run so here 12 20 antena clear so if I pass here so based on value it is going to execute okay so 4 pieces okay I'm going to mention pieces of apple so here pieces of oranges spelling mistake ఇది okay మనం నేర్చుకోలేదు అప్పుడు no issue so 4 pieces of apple 12 pieces of oranges clear so done so here so what is the operation which is continuously repeating if I have more than 2 so if I need to add 10 fruits okay so 10 different fruits I need to add to create a juice so here I need to pass 10 parameters right 10 parameters so then again 10 times I need to create the same variable sorry same this arithmetic operation I need to do 10 times for 10 fruits is it or not so means this particular operation is repeatedly it is going to perform so same apples into 4 oranges into 4 okay so if it is more fruits grapes into 4 like this I need to do n number of times so for that what I am going to do any other alternates so I'm going to create so always we need to create optimized code okay which is easy so function I'm going to create one more function cut piece or else cuts no issue whatever it might be slices so here I need to pass which fruit it is. Which fruit it is. Okay. So this function is going to return. Sorry, we have not discussed the return, right? Okay, so return I'm going to mention. No issue. So return fruit into 4. So we will discuss return also, no issue. So what I need to do? I need to call this function here. So slices apple, apples. Slices oranges. ఏనా ఆర్గాన్స్ అవుతుంది అది. ఓకే ఇవే పెడతాం. ఓకే సో I have passed 1 into 3, right? Okay. So I'm going to pass 7 comma 3. So same, first this function is going to call. Okay, so once this function has been called, this function is going to take place to execute. So apples, oranges. Okay, so two values it is going to accept. So one is for apples are 7, so it is 3. So again, let apples is equal to, so JavaScript finds again one more function call. Okay, so it will pass this execution. It will wait for the result from this function. Okay, so it will wait for the result for this function. So slices, again, this function is going to execute now. Okay, so it will never ever move to the next step. It is going to wait for few seconds. So then again slice fruit, it is going to accept one more argument. We have passed here apples. Apples value is 7. So 7 it is going to take. Clear? So 7 into 4. So this result will be written back to this particular apple pieces. Okay. So then again same for this orange pieces. Clear? So same it is going to execute. Clear? So rather than creating here multiple times, okay, that asterisk 4, just we can use one more function. Okay, so every time we need to separate our entire code into blocks, which will be easy to execute. Clear? Yeah. So till here, this is with params. This function is with parameters. So this is without parameters. Clear? So already we have seen this is without return keyword. Okay. So return keyword we are going to see. Return keyword. So any idea on this return keyword? So function arithmetic. So let a equal to some 15. Okay, so let b is equal to 4. So return a plus b. Console.log of a plus b. So what will be the result? So if I just call this function, okay, what will be the result? Commented it, right? Okay. So what will be the result? Here, what will be the result? No result. Okay, no result. I'm going to take this support. Okay, fine. Before that, done. So our JavaScript function. Okay. So our JavaScript function, sorry, execution will starts from here. Okay. So it will just pass from line by line. So whenever it finds function, it is not going to execute it. Okay, it is going to skip. So whenever JavaScript finds this function call, then only it is going to execute this function. So it is going to start executing this particular function. So here let a equal to 15, b equal to 4. So return a plus b. So it is going to do here arithmetic operation 15 plus 4. What will be the result? 19. Okay. So 19 will be return. The name itself it is saying. Return and in the it is going to send back this result to this function wherever you have called this function. Okay. So JavaScript, whenever JavaScript finds this return keyword, it is going to stop this function execution. It is going to return this result to this function wherever you have called. Okay, so I have called here. So here it is going to hold the result 19. Okay, so but we are unable to see this 19. Okay, why? Because it contains 19 value, but we have not printed it. Okay, so we are going to see. So whenever JavaScript finds this return keyword, it will terminate this function execution. It will just come outside of this particular function execution. It will never ever move forwards. If you have written n number of times, sorry, n number of lines after this return keyword, waste. It is not going to execute. So whenever it finds return keyword, it will stop the execution of that particular function. It will return that particular value, whatever you have mentioned. Here, we have just mentioned a plus b. We can just mention anything, a, okay, or else return hello world. Okay. So whatever the value, again return function, one more function if you are returning. So whatever the value you are returning, it is going to return back to this function. Okay, clear? So this add contains 19. To see this particular 19, console.log add. So this time it is going to hold that 19 inside the console.log. It is going to print that 19. Antena? Sorry, we have not saved it. 19. Clear? So it is going to return this result. If you are returning here, hello. So now what will be the result? What will be the result? Hello 19. Antena? Hello. So it will never ever moves forward whenever it finds return keyword. It will stop execution. Clear? Just remember this thing. If you are not returning anything, just return nothing. It is not going to return anything. Okay, so console dot log empty. That is the reason it is undefined. So if you are mentioning add, only add, it is not going to do anything. Okay, clear. So it will do nothing. Clear? Simply it will returns. Any doubts till this point? So, A, return A. So let result is equal to add console.log result. What will be the output? What will be the output? 15. Okay, A value. Clear? Any doubts how this return is working? Clear, right? Written ఎలా వర్క్ అవుతుంది అర్థం అవుతుందా? సో విత్ params, without params, with written keyword, without written keyword. Okay, clear, done. So, okay. Okay, this is one type of function. So one more type is function expression or anonymous function. Anonymous function. Clear? What is unknown number? So whenever anonymous function means there is no name to that particular function. Okay. So what is anonymous person or unknown person? We don't know who he is. Okay. So whenever uh, so some murder has been happened in our street, we are going to call to the police. They are going to ask, what is your name? Simply we are going to disconnect that call. So మనకి ఎందుకు ఈ తలనొప్పని వదిలేస్తాం కదా. So for that police, that is the anonymous call. Okay, so we don't know who is he. Okay, so here a function which does not have any name. So again, function expression. Why they are going to call this as function expression? We are going to write this function as an expression. So what is expression? ఎప్పుడో చెప్పినట్టు గుర్తు నాకు కానీ. So let or else a equal to 10, x equal to y. Expressions అనేవి ఓకేనా. సో the combination of operators and operands. Okay, so let a equal to 10. So this is variable declaration, right? This is an expression. Okay, so if it is Java, then only we are going to mention left. So till here it is an expression, right? Similarly, we can write function as an expression in JavaScript. Okay, so I'm going to mention syntax first. So syntax. So for this function expression, keyword, variable keyword it is. So then again, variable name. Variable name is equal to function keyword. So here you are going to start. There is no zero. So this is how you are going to write this function expression or anonymous function. This is the syntax. Keyword var let const. Variable name. However, you are going to declare x equal to 10. X is a variable name. So here you are going to take your own variable name. So function keyword it is not a function name. So this is the parenthesis and block of code. So same you need to write here. So here you are going to get set of statements. Clear? So the functionality wise both are same. The syntax is different. Okay. So then again, why we are going to learn both? So whenever you are going to create callback functions. Okay. So in upcoming we are going to see callback functions, closures. Okay. So if you need to declare a function inside an object. Okay. So then this function expression will helps. Okay. So here let at is equal to function. So here console.log function expression. Done. So I have created a function. This function has been assigned to this variable. And then a equal to 10 ఎలా assign చేసామో same add equal to function అని mention చేసామో. So that is the reason functions are first class citizens in JavaScript. Okay. So, okay, fine. So now how to call this function? There is no function name, right? How to call this function? Hmm? Using its variable name. Okay. So I have commented it right here. It has been executed. Okay. So using its variable name, we are going to call this function. So again, same. If you are passing parameters, you can pass here. Okay. So if you are passing arguments, same. So all the thing is same. Syntactically, it is different. But when coming to the callback functions, methods, we are going to use this function expression. Clear? Any doubts till this point? Someone asked. So in JavaScript, we can assign function to a variable. Okay, so variable. So and also it helps for callbacks, closures, methods. Okay, so in the inside object we are going to create it. So and so on. Okay, promises, all these things will comes here. Okay, yeah, done. So the third one is arrow function or lambda function. So any idea on it? I hope you have seen in other language also. So greet or else okay, I'm going to create add. Add is equal to. So this is the syntax. So variable, sorry. So variable name for this function. So parenthesis arrow mark. Okay, so is equal to greater than symbol. So then block of code. Okay, so variable name assignment operator. So here this is the arrow function syntax. Clear? So same. So I'm going to pass return console.log. So hello React developer. You need to call this function. So then only it is going to execute. Clear? So syntactically it is different. So but there will be a lot of difference between normal regular function and this arrow function. Syntactically, it is cleaner. So which is simple, right? సో దీంతో కంపేర్ చేసుకుంటే డిక్లరేషన్ ఇది ఈజీయా కాదా ఈజీగానే ఉందా సో everyone angry on me return a plus b so I'm going to pass a comma b comma 7 so if it is function contains only one line single line of code you can directly pass it in single line no need this block also or if it is written we need to mention if it is okay we need to mention this. So we can just mention inside parentheses also sorry console console.log is going to display clear if it is only one line of code you can just pass in single line okay we don't need to create multiple lines also okay so we can just pass like this in React it will work okay no issue it's not working here so in React we are going to create direct single line we don't need to pass this flower braces also curly braces also console.log and adding two values. Yes. We'll just check whether it is working or not. This time no need this console. If it is returning only on the type. See, we have not mentioned here curly braces. Directly I have written in single line. Okay, so this is how this arrow function will helps. Okay, so in array methods, maximum time we are going to use this arrow functions only. Okay, so in single line only we are going to write array methods or filters. Okay, whatever the what it is logic we are going to use. So same in single line we are going to write. Clear? Any doubts till this point? Okay, almost done. So arrow functions cleaner. Easy syntax. Okay, so same. So the difference this keyword or sorry. So without this keyword mentioning inside this arrow function. So if someone asks what is the difference between regular function or normal function and arrow function, we need to mention this keyword. Okay, so function declaration or regular function will supports this keyword. Arrow function will never ever supports this keyword. It does not have its own this keyword. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the story. There are two in. Okay, no? So this is the major difference between that function declaration and arrow function. So syntactically difference we are going to see. Okay, so this right. So again, if a function immediately invoke function. So function so just give me a second. So let a is equal to function. So I'm going to mention console.log. Let's check it. Yeah, it's working. So here you can just mention this helps to create if we. Okay, so this is also one special type of function. Earlier days we are going to use it. Okay, so before ES6 maximum time they are going to use this if function. So only one time it is going to execute. Okay, so here itself this is the function call for this function. Okay, so immediately it invoked function. Okay, so immediately invoke function. So once if you have started running this application, so first time it is going to execute this function. Done. It will never ever execute again. Clear? So this is the syntax. So whatever the statements you need to load, you can just load inside this curly braces. Clear? Any doubts till this point? Stage condition. So here, sorry, without brackets, it is not going to. In React, we can just see. So this is how we are going to mention. Okay. So if it is no return, you can just directly pass a plus b. Okay. So then console.log, and so I'm going to pass 50 comma 25. So here direct, if it is only single line, I am just mentioning in one line. So just go and check out sound. Okay. So without return keyword, you can just directly pass like this. Okay, if it is only one line. Clear? I will stop. Online, any doubts? Kairos, finish. Yeah, so this is fine. So there will be lot of things again, recursive function, all these things. Okay. So nested functions, closures, we will discuss one by one. Till here, try to do practice. So whatever we have discussed today, almost done. Okay. Just discuss recursive. Any idea on recursive? Default params. Yeah, we'll just see. We'll discuss it later. Okay. So default params, simple. We are not passing any arguments. Okay. So default, you are going to mention one value to it. B is equal to 3. If that user is passing this B value, it is going to take that B value. Okay. Otherwise, it is going to take this 3. Clear. So we will discuss. This feature has been added on ES6. Okay. Yep. So arrow function also. ఇవన్నీ ES6 కాన్సెప్ట్స్ నాకు ఇంకా డివైడ్ చేయలేదు అడ్వాన్స్డ్ జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ నార్మల్ జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ అని సో మొత్తం కలిపి నేర్చుకుంటాం ఓకేనా సో arrow functions these are all introduced in ES6. So, clear any doubt?